both of our families, I was lucky enough to be born when there was no electricity in Sweet Bay. So even though I'm very young, I had that experience of where every material you had was important. Everything had to be saved. Everything was valuable. A nail was a nail. You picked it up, you kept it. You didn't throw it away. And so that was sort of when my sisters and my mom were quilting. Nothing got wasted.
Yeah, and the same in my family. Every rag, anything, everything was reused.
Yeah.
Recycling before recycling was cool.
Before the word was invented. We used to have, because some of the family, but they moved from Ireland, went to the Boston States, as they call it, we would get gifts from our relatives down there, and it came in a barrel, so it was our barrel from Boston. I've heard other people refer to it as a box from Boston, but ours was in a barrel, and they'd come every year, and it was very exciting. It was a big deal for all the kids. You'd have new clothes. What we couldn't wear then would be cut up and used for quilting eventually, and if we did wear it, it would be eventually make the quilt pile anyway. So it was great.
Did your family use flour sacks for
yeah, they used to use the flour sacks, wash them, soften them up, and then use them as backing for quilts, and use them for other things.
My mother
as well.
made oil clothes out of flour sacks and linseed oil.
So they coat them and coat them.
Yeah, and I think she made bloomers out of them as well.
and didn't your Aunt Anne?
My grand aunt made Dad's first pair of baby shoes.
Yeah.
Out of leather, and
so everything got used.
Everything
got used. We're very fortunate to be living in Verde, Cove, where Shawn, as you said earlier,
a couple of years now, are we?
A couple of years here now, and it's a lovely little community. Maybe a bustling metropolis of 65 to 80 people.
82 now.
82 now, and pretty well everybody is Fisher people, and it's a lovely place to live. It's after years in the city or in Topsail near St. John's, which was also lovely, by the way, it's quite a treat to be living out here. It's
we just started gardening. Year 2 is it? We're
year 2 of gardening.
Restoring the old cellar.
The gardening, the culture of gardening, and the culture of saving things and not wasting anything, brings us back to the quilting thing that we were talking about earlier. Everything is used. It's wonderful. And everything is reused and then reused again. So
we have a quilt at the house that's actually made from blue jeans. A lot of the quilts we have are clothing from grandmothers and grandfathers and uncles and aunts that are long gone.
Yeah, did we mention the memory quilts? Memory quilts. So if I pass away, use all this stuff and make a quilt, and then you'll have to remember me.
Yeah.
Several weeks ago, maybe we were coming down the Trinity Shore and picked up a lovely quilt, and it's a little bit rough. Needs some work. It's not actually rough. It's just it needs some repair.
It's frayed us.
Yeah. I was hoping to get somebody who's a real quilter to fix it up. Everybody's pretty busy these days, and so we're going to attempt to repair that ourselves. So we'll let you share that experience with us. Any real quilters out there, see what we're doing.
What's your herring neck or herringbone stitch?
A herringbone stitch. I got it down to a T. So it's wonderful, of course, having the quilts in your own home, and having the quilts that were made by sisters and mothers and families and uncles and whoever. But we went to the Festival of Quilts in Verde last year. We knew that we were going to be amazed by what we saw, and we were very excited about it. But when we went over, they were in the two churches, right?
Yeah, the church on the hill.
They were laid out in the church, but the one up on the hill we walked in, and the light and the beauty of the building, and then the quilts laid out on the pews. I mean, just incredible work for starters.
You got
emotional. I got well right up, and the tears were this close to coming. It was quite an emotional experience. It was a beautiful thing. So I certainly hope it comes back to us again. And of course, we had quilts. That
was a great thing.
We had the clothes.
Everybody
quilts,
in the communities had
quilts. So everybody took it to heart and really made it their own thing. It became very much a community celebration of the work.
Yeah, incredible work.
I see again the the ocean.
With our families in the past, the culture was nothing went to waste. This, by the way, is not a how to quilt video for YouTube. This is just
Patching.
us trying to patch quilts that we've collected. So, and I'm sure any quilters are watching will be laughing at some of the technique. But with a lot of them, you get
What stitch are you
this sort of
using,
thing
Ron?
here. And I'm using a stitch that my mother taught me when I went to university for hemming my pants. Before I found out that you could do that with masking tape. So you just fix all these, and you work on. Let me roll it in here in a moment. And once you get the needle through the thread, you're halfway through the battle. They would be sitting around the table, maybe two or
By
three of them.
lamplight.
Well, by lamplight, exactly. And just quilting away, into the night. We would have the quilts piled on top of us on the beds. It was so cold then, there was no central heating.
My aunt called their quilting things ditch and stitch.
Ditch and stitch. We didn't have that term. But the quilts would be so heavy that they'd be layered and layered and layered, like they'd be this thick. And when you had them on you in the bed,
You weren't moving.
you weren't moving. I mean, that was the heat.
You were
It kept all your
insulated.
heat
We
in.
also had beach rocks in our bed.
Well, there you go. So,
Mom put beach rocks in the oven, warmed them up, wrapped them in a quilt or
but
something, and put
there's
them in
lots
bed.
of quilts that they need some work, but you get them and and they'll be previously loved, and you get them and do a bit of this repair. Somebody will show you how to do it.
Yeah.
Somebody will show me how to do it.
We almost have
after
a pink
this, I'm sure.
triangle.
We almost have that, and you waste nothing. You waste nothing.
Shades are falling, all alone I shed a tear. On my cheek I feel the soft touch of the winds that whispered low. When I mowed Pat Murphy's meadow in the sunny long ago.